Hi, my name is Ben Thuss, and I'm going to be explaining several possible ways that my company could use the process of product gamification to help improve our software and improve the overall user experience and the overall level of enjoyment the user gets out of performing tasks on our app. Product gamification is the application of typical game design principles to software development in an effort to make software that is more compelling and more attractive to the user. Our software is a mobile app that the guest downloads when they check into the hotel. It lets them do things such as see points of interest around the hotel, any kind of restaurants or day trips, anything like that. It also lets the guest order things from the front desk, such as towels, toothpaste, amenities, anything like that. If the hotel has room service, it also has a full room service menu with pictures, and it also assists the guest in finding out crucial hotel info like checkout time, pool hours, front desk contact, anything like that. The whole idea of gamification is to somehow hook the user more, make them more engaged. And when I sat down to look at our software and how we could possibly gamify certain aspects of it, I came up with three basic categories that could be gamified in some way. The first is the interface and aesthetic design of the software. The second is the core functionality of the software. And lastly would be the optional and sort of auxiliary functionality and compatibility built into the software. When we approach the interface and aesthetic design, we did notice that there's really not a whole lot that you can do to affect this area, but the things that you can do are incredibly important. One of the most important is the animations going from page to page in the app. Originally, we had these really complex but really interesting animations. However, we found that over time you were kind of waiting on them to finish. They were cumbersome to use, and so instead we swapped them out for just a simple fade animation. That's a lot cleaner. It keeps people in the app. They don't get bored with it, and it just makes things run a little bit more efficiently. Another thing that we have talked about changing in terms of trying to give the guests some sort of visual feedback is adding in an animation and sound for when the guest submits requests to the app. Right now they sort of only get a text-based notification when the request is received, but I think it would be more rewarding if we added in a animation, loading bar, something like that, showing the guest that their request is being transmitted and processed, and then they get a big check mark and an affirming sound when it's received by the front desk. And overall, I think that's going to make it more of a semi-tactile experience. They get that small reward for doing that, and hopefully subconsciously that encourages them to use the features again and to be more comfortable with the software. The most direct way that we can gamify our software is going to be in slightly modifying the core functionality of it. Um, One thing that we are considering implementing is giving the user the ability to create and customize their own profile in the app. So there would be mild RPG elements in this. This would let them input their taste in food, hotels, places to go, things they like to do. Um, and what this does for us and for the hotel is it allows us to begin amassing really detailed metrics about each user. We can develop a profile for people, anonymously track their habits, their choices, their decisions, things like that, so that we can really tailor the experience to them, give them more relevant recommendations as to what they might like to do or what they might like to make use of at the hotel. So with this profile, we would be able to let people earn points for doing various things. So you would get points for checking into a hotel that's within the Easy Life network. You could redeem these points to get free items, free meals, things like that. On the hotel level, the managers could set up challenges and scavenger hunts that you could get points for. So, say that the manager had set up a scavenger hunt of fine French food to try in the city. You go, you check in at all these places using the app, and you're going to get points for all those check-ins. And then if you complete the scavenger hunt, then maybe the manager of the hotel has some sort of prize that you can claim. We also thought about giving the guest a unique badge for each new hotel that they check into as sort of a way to remember your stay there, and it's kind of like a little a digital memento. Each hotel would have their own custom badge, so that you could sort of collect them as you go and visit new cities and new hotels. And we also thought that you could award the user with points for just using different parts of the software. They would get some points for exploring all the screens, or for looking up all the info, or sending requests, anything like that. Just a loose point system that doesn't get too complicated, because people, they're using a product, they're not playing a game. However, if you can add in just those little elements and little bits of games, it can just make it a lot more fun to use. And if it's fun to use, then people are much more likely to go back to it, rather than it just being a really dry, boring experience. The last way we thought that we could engage the user more is by tying in with other apps and any other software that the guests might be using while they're staying there. So this would be stuff like letting them share what hotel they're going to on Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, using those programs to sort of mesh in with our software and just create a more unique, engaging experience and overall for the guest, and just make it possible for them to share what they're doing, which isn't directly a game principle, but something that would make someone more involved with the software. It makes it mean something more to them. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my run through so far, and if you have any other questions or suggestions, comments about Easy Life or our software, my website is www.benthus.com, and the company website is www.easylife.co. Thank you.